my thinking, okay, when this coronavirus started, I'll give you the background of, when I first heard of this coronavirus, I never paid much attention. It was like something in China is happening. Just like any other news, you hear about Syria, you hear about there's an accident. And so to me, it was just like any other news about China experiencing what this and that. But as the news unfolded and things were becoming much clearer and now it became a pandemic, so I had to shift my mind into understanding what is actually happening. What is this coronavirus? What is happening? So I had to study a lot, self-teach myself a lot. I had to absorb too much knowledge about this coronavirus and what's happening. Now, after acquiring all that knowledge, coming to your question, my logical understanding was that we should have a lockdown. That's what my logical, after now acquiring the knowledge. So now I was in a position of saying, okay, based on my understanding, we should have a lockdown. Based on my understanding, in the next couple of weeks, we are going to have a lockdown. Me and my family, we were like, okay, we need to prepare for this lockdown. So we did shopping enough to cover us for 1 month, like buying rice, flour, whatnot, like beans, sugar, salt, because in our logical thinking, we were going to have a lockdown based on what I could understand, because my understanding was that it began in China, it spread, no, actually in Wuhan, that city, then entire China, and then they into Europe. Actually, Italy being the epicenter of the pandemic, I was thinking now, so Italy is supplying to Europe. What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? At some point, it's going to come into Africa. And I was thinking in Africa, it wouldn't be like in Italy, because there's no, Italy is like, it's a tourist center. People tend to move, Africa is different. Like you see, like the Ebola in Congo, there's not much movement.
Right, yes.
But, we Africans and the Europeans tend to interact a lot. So I was thinking, we won't have like an epicenter in Africa, like let's say in Sudan or let's say in South Africa, but we are going to have epicenters within our country. So like in Tanzania, I was thinking probably Dar es Salaam.
Dar es Salaam.
In Kenya, I was thinking it's going to be Nairobi. So I was like predicting what's going to happen. Now, based on the knowledge I acquired, and we knew that we're going to have a lockdown sooner or later, so let's do some shopping and have our own stuff. So that was the mood. And then when I came to learn there's no lockdown, I was thinking, oh, it's happening now. This is going to be a disaster. It's going to be dying. People are going to be dying. So that's what I'm saying to you. My view then. So if you'd have asked me back then, my reaction would have been different. Or maybe I would have been, tense. But now it's like, it feels okay now. Like it feels like we've passed it based on the information we're getting from the news media. It feels like we've passed it now. And me, with my background, so when they announced no lockdown, I was thinking I had to give them benefit of the doubt. Right. Maybe they know more than I know. And based on my understanding, you need to have the facts to declare your position. At that point, my position was based on my theories. I didn't have facts to say, okay, this is my conclusion.
Right.
But their government, they have information. They are in the position to declare no lockdown.
Right, because they actually have the facts.
The facts, yeah.
You are just sitting at home with your theories.
With my theories, right. So I had to give them benefit of the doubt. However, that was me going against my instincts. My instincts were telling me, oh, how are we different from the other countries?
Right.
We are all human beings. What the experience is going to happen to us? How are we special?
Right, yes.
So that made my instincts active, even though I gave them benefit of the doubt. So I had put these things together. But as that was going on, me and my family, we are protecting ourselves. We had to put a system in place to make sure that we were okay, like having surgical masks. I'm wearing them until now. We have plenty at home, right? We had to put a system that every one of us had to make sure we adhere to these conditions we put on ourselves. Like you have to put on a mask.
Yeah, the social distancing guidelines.
Social distancing, we had to put on this mask, social distancing guidelines. We had to make sure that unnecessary movements, like whenever I come in here, I tend to wash my hands. So that's part of...
So let me just be clear on this. you and your family decided this.
Yeah.
Nobody came and forced you to do it and said you have to do it. You used common sense and decided this is what you want.
Yeah. Now that was partly because of the information we were getting from the government that this is the way to deal with this.
Situation is like that. Yeah.
So the ministry's guidance was like we to protect yourself you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
Right. So, but no one came to me and said, "Hey, where is your mask?" Hey, I never experienced that.
Yeah,
so
there was no law enforcement. There was no enforcement.
I did not experience an enforcement.
Yeah.
Maybe someone did, but me, I never experienced enforcement.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, you would find in every shop you'd find the buckets of water where you could wash your hands. You'd find that. You could come across that. Now, I'm not quite sure how they got the instruction. Because me, I've got this sort of. I'm very critical.
Okay.
I just don't go by, like I won't quote you unless I hear you.
Right.
So what the shops were doing, they used to have buckets where you could wash your hands. Now I'm not quite sure whether that was mandatory.
Yeah.
Did they hear it from someone, from the government? So, but I could see some changes around the streets.
Right.
Did that imply there was a law or regulation? I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay, that one I can tell you because I spoke to some business owners.
Yeah.
The government also sent them directives.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, the government only sent the directives and said do A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
But they did not like send
enforce them, police
there
them.
to
No.
come and, yeah. The owners took it upon themselves to add those guidelines and even added more.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's their shop.
Okay, yeah.
You know, so even if the government said do A, B, C, they also added E, F, G.
Because their well-being, because their well-being was at risk as well.
Yes. So they also went beyond what was mandated.
So what I was experiencing is that there was no lockdown, but there was a change of how we were approaching things. Now, in my household, we had our own way. I had to do shopping. That's why you remember. I had to go and do the I said to my mom, you don't have to do this. You can direct me. I will buy. I will do video call. I will deliver. It's okay. These are not normal times. Before, my mom wants to, she wants to manage things. That's what she likes. She wants to cook something. It has to taste as she wants it to taste. That sort of managerial, I don't know if it's whatever they call it, it's macro, I don't know, but she has that sort of. But then I said, you know what, with this coronavirus, we have to do this. So I said to myself, I don't trust my sister. She might go out and be careless, but I can assess myself. So what we did, I had to do the weekly shopping. Our housemaid used to leave once per day because she lives with us. So she wouldn't, like before, she used to leave the house like 3-4 times to buy tomato, to go and buy lemon, to go and buy that. Now it was like a weekly shopping, and then whatever that happens was just like once a day. If not, she would stay in the house 3-4. So we had to make these changes. So there was no like lockdown, but we put on ourselves, based on the information we got, to make sure that we were safe. Now, my father is in his 70s. My mom is in her late, I think 50s or 60s, I'm not quite sure. I think in her 60s, I don't know. So you are like, if it was just us, the younger ones, I don't think we would have been that strict. Because we have our elderly parents, we had on us the responsibility to make sure they are okay. And these things that you cannot cheat yourself. Because if you cheat yourself, you leave a room for your father to be ill. So whom are you fooling there? What is the mood now? I'm glad we never had the lockdown. This is my view now.
You are very happy that there was no lockdown. Okay.
It has made me being compassionate. Like when I walk in the streets and I see the fishmongers and I see these other people who they have to work to eat on that day. I tend to put myself on their position. Like if there was a lockdown, how would have they survived? Okay, let's assume there would have been free meals, but are our governments that very organized to deliver these meals? Okay, there could be free meals, but are we that organized?
To get it to everybody.
And fair, without the risk of corruption. So I'm thinking, even if there was lockdown, and if government would have been providing meals, I still think it would have been an extra hassle for these ones that were expecting, because I'm telling you, I don't think the meals would have been delivered on time and sufficient. I doubt that ability. I really doubt. But me and my family, we had our own stuff at home. So if there was a lockdown, it would have been okay. We would have been okay. But so it made me compassionate, saying I'm grateful we never had a lockdown, because I feel for those people who expect to work. So it has made me really put myself on their shoes and to see things from their angle and say, yeah, this would have been tough. This would have been tough. So now my view is based on the fact that I haven't lost anyone I love from my family in the coronavirus. My view would have been different if, let's say, so-and-so had passed. I would have been mad and said the government was careless. I would have had that view that the government was careless. If it wasn't for the lockdown, if it wasn't for maybe unlockdown, who so-and-so would have been alive. See where I'm coming from? So yes. My view is based on the fact that I haven't lost anybody.
Okay, but can I ask you a question? Because then again, I want to come back to self-care. Because I'm being the devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Because even if you had lost somebody, but how much can you really blame the government? Because that person, they exposed themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Because that the government cannot control.
Exactly.
You know, they cannot control. They can control me within my fence here.
Yeah.
The minute I go outside, or even because a lot of people get infected within their own homes.
See, I'm okay. When you're in pain, the psychology sometimes wants you to find someone to blame.
Yes, yeah.
I think I would have found a reason to blame the government, as in it's responsible, the public health policy.
Right.
So like in the UK, I'm of the view that this government under Prime Minister Boris Johnson is going to be in trouble, because the policy they put in place has made people in the care homes to die.
Yes. Yeah.
So I believe there is government, I believe in leadership. The leadership tends to bring certain outcomes. So if person would have died in my family, regardless of them being careless or not, I think I would still find a way to reason that the government, if it was not for the government, this would have been so it would have been. I think I would have still found a way to blame them because of what the policy can bring about.
Right.
If it's not done properly. That's my view. Again, if you're in pain, you lost someone, you'll be resenting. So again, I'm saying this from a very happy place.
Right. Yes.
That
yes.
I don't have anything at the back of my mind to say.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm also looking at people who are in lockdowns, but they still have family members who died, and they have strict lockdown. I mean, but people still die.
Still die. Yeah.
In the nursing home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why it's very. I don't know. For me, I feel it's very.
It's like there's
so difficult.
You
don't know what is right and what is wrong because. The statistics, it's like now, look like there's no lockdown here. But if you look at the whole of Africa, when you look at the death rates,
it's like the same, isn't it?
It's the same.
Like average,
Yeah, it's average.
And I heard from the WHO, they were saying that it appears the coronavirus is taking a different direction in Africa.
Yes, yeah.
So that to me was like, okay, this is legitimate piece of information.
Right.
That it's sort of confirming we are having a different experience here.
Yes, yeah.
That was my thinking. Yeah, so like you say, I agree on that on that view that lockdown, is it really effective?
Yeah, especially for Tanzania. Because I don't care what they do in South Africa, but I mean for Tanzania, it was for you as a local.
Yeah, but again, I have got to I don't agree. I am not, they say, the praise team. A praise team that you always congratulate the government. I'm always skeptical of the government. That's just me, you know.
Okay, right.
But and I don't agree with the government on so many other things.
Yes, I understand.
And I tend to be partial because I don't have all the facts. I tend to be partial. Like, is it, you know? But they had this sort of campaign that, okay, you need to go back to our traditional means of treating ourselves.
Right.
And we had a whole week that was emphasizing on everyone trying to go back to your traditional ways. Because again, we were like, if we expect for the Americans to provide us with the solutions to these things, they are dying themselves. So we need to go back and think for ourselves. I think that probably made a difference because again, there's no scientific evidence that what we did or what we do with the lemon and the ginger.
Yes. So this is the other thing I've find very interesting. Like when I look on Facebook and all my social media and just reading, I keep asking the question, why is this happening in Africa and it's so different in, let's say, Europe or whatever?
Yeah.
And because I don't want to put words in people's mouth by telling them straightforward, how can I say, what I'm trying to do is to, like you just said now, maybe look, I even said yesterday to someone, what is Africa doing differently? And from my observation, just like you said now, it's because it's the first of all, it's the demographics in Africa.
Yeah.
There's more young
people.
I keep telling my husband when we're in the street, we're like the oldest people. I feel so old, you know. I'm like trying to see who's old, and I feel so bad. The other thing is because also the way you treat your elderly. Because, you know, in general, your elderly are not going shopping and or you don't put them in homes, you know, where you take care of them, the family takes care of them. And if there is problem like in Dar es Salaam, they send them back to their villages, you know, wherever. Because I've noticed many people are asked, where's your mother? Oh, we send
actually, people are traveling from out of Dar es Salaam to the other cities. Yeah, please carry on.
So it's the culture. And then the other thing is because people always assume that only Western medicine works. Yeah. But Africans had, the first human beings, the first Homo sapiens from Africa, and they have survived all kinds of diseases and plagues and disasters, but they always come back fighting. They always survive. So there must be something valuable in the African
approach.
Traditional, the approach and the traditional medication.
Medication,
And I've noticed how a lot on the media, people make fun of this.
Sure,
People actually ridicule this, which to me does not make. Look at Africa, look at the teeth. I always say that. You look at Ethiopia during the 80s when they had the famine, and they would show us all those pictures of how the children were, malnutrition.
Big belly, malnutrition.
But even if they had all of that, they all had perfect teeth. And if you, they were so malnutrited yet, because of the bone, the bone structure. They survived longer than what was expected. But so that is why my thing is this thing that even because I'm looking at I watch all the scientists, on YouTube, and I read all the stuff. They will go all over the world to do the studies, but they're not studying like Tanzania, for example. I think this is the perfect place they should be studying because this is a place where there was no lockdown.
Yeah. It's very interesting, these things. You know what? Because again, there was a narrative that they are hiding statistics.
Yes,
They're not testing enough.
Yes.
Whatever happens there is not valid enough for us to.
But how do they know that if they don't come here and do the research?
Exactly. Now, that's one thing. The second thing I was thinking to myself is that you hear about people of African origin, people of African native, like in America, they die a lot. They were affected a lot
in New York.
In New York. Actually, I don't know many parts of America.
Maybe in New York.
Even they were saying this about the UK. People from Asian background, Africa,
the Middle Eastern.
The Middle Eastern.
Yes.
So I was thinking, we appear to have the same genetic makeup like the African Americans. But why is it that seem to be dying much than us. Is it because of the lifestyle there? Like, yeah, so I was trying to make us to think myself, is it the lifestyle, what they eat, the
And
environment, it has made them weak compared to me living here in my environment. It's like it has made me stronger compared to my brothers and sisters in America.
Right.
Because again, they were taken to a different environment. Now they're eating
they eat different lifestyle,
different meals. You know, has it made them weak? Because what it appears they're dying a lot.
Right. Yeah.
You see? Yeah. So
also they don't. The other thing that they said is because a lot of countries, because we get the BCG.
What is that?
That injection for tuberculosis.
Yeah.
So that's why they're studying that to see if that's a factor.
Probably.
Yeah. And then the other thing is also because Africans are more exposed to diseases all the time.
Yeah.
So the immune system is
Maybe
more
it's
used to
stronger.
adjusting.
Yeah.
And especially malaria.
Yeah.
Because malaria is still the biggest.
It's like
biggest killer, right?
It's like we've adapted to.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking maybe because of, I don't know. Yeah. So I had something to do with my thinking was that, is there an extra factor here? We are of the same genetic makeup, maybe, but because we live in different environments, it has made them more vulnerable.
Yeah, yes. And maybe their systems, like we were saying, their systems cannot adapt as fast.
Exactly.
Because they never exposed, they're not that exposed.
That was me trying to reason why them and not us.
Right.
That was me trying to come into the conclusion that it has not affected us as much as. That was me relying on my understanding and my reasoning ability to come into a conclusion that would convince me that, because, my dear, if people are dying at Kilimanjaro, do I know?
You would, I don't know.
It depends, because there could be censorship of information.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Do we really know? Are we really sure of what's happening?
But do you think, okay, let me ask a question, because I actually asked Zaino. Let's assume that in Tanzania, a lot of people are really dying.
Yeah.
Surely you would have heard about it by now.
That was when I was thinking of the worst case scenario. What if people are dying? Many people are dying. Is it possible that this can be?
3,000 had died. I'm sure you would have known.
Again, it leaves me. I haven't yet come into a conclusion. If my thinking is, not many people have died. That's my thinking.
Yeah, maybe many people have it.
Yeah.
But not many people have died.
But because I don't have the facts, it's not conclusive.
Right.
There's still a room to think there could be a chance many people have died, but when you approach things scientifically, again, this is because of my background.
Yeah, you need the concrete data.
Yeah, it's not conclusive. It feels all right. I'm happy. Things are back to normal. So there's that. Okay. I'm happy that there was no lockdown. I'm happy there was no lockdown. I'm pleased there was no lockdown.
Yeah.
I am grateful there was no lockdown, and I pray that things get better for good.
Right.
I want people to go back to school, back to college.
They're going tomorrow.
The university and the sixth form starting tomorrow.
Yes.
So things are getting back to normal. The commercial flights are coming in. The
Right.
industries, this Airbnb was affected.
Yes.
So many things were not sure. Business was slowing down. I had my plans. I was doing my lessons. I had to quit. I was about to start a new business. I couldn't do it. It affected us. To put on the lockdown in place, it would have been even much to recover from that. I feel bad for my fellow Kenyans and for other countries like Kenya and Uganda. I don't know how much this has
affected the economy.
Yeah, and again, let's say like in Europe, what really made them to come off the lockdown is because they reached their peak and it's slowing down.
Right.
Because now they're very strict. They have got these systems in place to make sure that we're going to reach the peak sooner.
Yes.
We're going to come off it. But now, is Kenya, are they able to reach the peak much quicker and come off it? Are they going to give some point. I was thinking at some point
Yeah.
they're gonna go give up. I was thinking at some point these people are going to give up because you really have to be organized to.
Yes.
And then if they give up, what is the meaning of all this?
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because I think what we don't, I just say we, I'm talking in general, we don't understand that every country is in a different situation. So you cannot, what works in one is not necessarily going to work in another, because like you were saying, when you said you know, all the like the vendors
Yeah.
need support.
Yeah.
In countries like the UK, they can lock down for a year because I don't know, their government can afford.
They took the homeless off the streets into hotels.
Yes, where is that going to happen here? Yeah, you see, this is yeah. So just so that you know again, because I'm doing this, like I said, because this is what I do.
Yeah.
Bring awareness.
Understand.
Because you see, from traveling, I learned so much.
Yeah.
And I know that too many people live in only their perception of life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Live in a bubble.
How can Tanzania not have a lockdown? They don't care about the people. People will be dying in thousands, in millions.
They live in a
It's
bubble.
like, maybe that's why they don't have a lockdown, because they're
Yeah.
worried about people. Because if there's a lockdown, people will be dying of starvation.
Hey, you know what? This is very funny. You know, I tend to read The Guardian a lot, the British version of The Guardian.
Yes.
I came across this terminology about this. They're calling it something a tourist bridge. What they're trying to say is that, for example, let's say France and Spain could have their own agreement. Let's say because, okay, based on our countries don't have much cases, we are very organized. Okay, tourists are going to flow between our
Just
countries.
between- yeah.
So I was thinking, oh my God, Tanzania, now we're going to be locked out from these things because it appears we are the worst.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, we're talking about that because you are here, and then you've got Zambia, and they're all closing their borders, and then they'll be opening around here, and Tanzania.
We're left
It
behind.
can't work in Africa.
You see, so I was thinking that we are going to be left behind because we come across as the rebels. We are rebelling against this. You know, we're going to be, they'll be like, okay, Tanzania, it's not safe. They never had the lockdown. They never had this and that. So we're not going to have any tourism cooperation with them until this settles down. When? We don't know. Guess what? Just as the airport allowed,
But you want us to come back in?
there was a flight full of people from Greece.
Yeah, exactly.
And based on what I read from The Guardian, it appeared that Greece was not much affected.
Yeah,
They are the special ones. They are, it's like they are their own. It's like you've to be part of their club. You've got to be. They're trying to make this scenario that UK is much affected. We won't qualify to be part of the Greece.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking,
Like some kind of apartheid going on now.
I was like, how comes this plane from Greece is coming to Tanzania?
Right, yeah.
These are different worlds. And then I heard from the British Prime Minister's father, who said that I'm fed up. I want this lockdown off. I want to visit Kilimanjaro. I was thinking, okay, so people have different views there.
Yes.
Again, about this Greece, I never had, the government had the facts that this is what's going on. Now, I'm happy there was no lockdown.
Okay.
I pray that things will be fine, but now, what makes me anxious now is that people are becoming too relaxed. Yeah, so it makes me anxious because people seem to have been too relaxed, and I know, as a matter of fact, that it's still dangerous.
Yeah.
That's what worries me.
Yeah.
That's why until now I wear my mask. So I'm anxious about this, and I feel like when sometimes when you feel that you're safe, that's when you're in danger. It's like my thinking is like the boogeyman is still there. This coronavirus.
Okay, so basically what you're saying, your whole experience so far with this is that the government has given guidelines, they've not gone as far as having law enforcement on people's behavior, but you yourself have taken it upon yourself to take care of yourself and your family.
Yes, as an individual,
Right.
I believe institutions have experienced enforcement, I believe, but as an individual, I have not. Okay, I have a responsibility of not endangering other people. Like these laws, they're always there. They're always there that, don't harm someone else, don't do that. But I never experienced like this macho man coming towards me and saying, "Where is your mask?" I haven't experienced that. Maybe because I've been observing, my experience could be different from another person.
Okay, but your personal experience.
Yeah, because again, I stayed, I never left Kigam. The only time I crossed towards the ocean, towards the other side, is to the fish market. I stopped most of my businesses. So I haven't exposed myself into situations that would have required me to be under supervision. That's what my take is, that I had a different experience.
Yes.
My take is I haven't seen this, like in Kenya, this police loitering around. I haven't seen that. It has been the only difference I've seen is people washing their buckets. Washing hands, wearing masks. The public transport, nobody was standing. It was, Yeah, that's what I've experienced those things. I'm really not trying to say that there could be other people out there who've experienced this, but my experience different. Maybe because I've been adhering to what the ministry has been advising. So when you're in the right, you won't experience.
And then, okay, let's just for argument's sake, the government didn't say anything. What would you do? Would you still be doing what you're doing now?
Okay. Good question. What if the government doesn't say anything? I've been asking myself, for how long will I be wearing this mask? That's the question I've been asking myself. I've been asking myself, once this box of mask runs out, should I go and buy another one? That's like your question asking, what if the government doesn't say anything?
Yeah, they don't say. Yeah, they just say they didn't say. But would you then take it upon yourself to think, I want to be safe, so I don't care what they say. I'm going to do this. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to wear a mask. Would you wait for them to tell you what to do?
I think I would always do what I think is right for me. I won't wait for the government to state this, because I know how politics works.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, that is the word.
You see, like for example, last Sunday, I think is a regional commissioner. Okay, I came across, and I'm gonna paraphrase this, that hey, we are safe now. Come back to Dar es Salaam. We're gonna have a party. So there was a party, like we've won the battle. There was this party going on, like celebrating that, we've made it. We've won this battle. We are in control of the battle. We can celebrate now. That reminded me of what happened in Italy. These guys were saying this coronavirus is nothing. This is rubbish. These guys were having, they were in crowds shaking people's hands. They were too relaxed. Like the Prime Minister of Britain, he was shaking people's hands. He was saying this and that. He got infected. So my thinking is that I've seen this before. I've watched this movie before. I know what's going to happen next. Like you've watched a movie, right? You know what's going to happen in the next scene. So I'm thinking, I've watched this happen before in Italy. This happened to Britain. So what I'm trying to say to you is that I don't really follow what the government says in a dogmatic sense.
Right.
I reason.
Yes.
Yeah, I still reason. So I will still keep on reasoning. Yeah, until when I know now. I think I'll always keep on reasoning. Now, I was tough on my family members, like my sisters, you know. Will I be tough on them? Pretty much. You know, I can't do it anymore. Planning to let go, and I'm like, whatever happens, happens. I pray my dad will be fine. I pray my mom will be fine. You know. So I hope that message plays as they're out, because now it's like my mandate. I don't have the mandate anymore, and I wouldn't want to have that mandate anymore. It's too much. It's emotional. Sometimes you have to be strict on people. You don't want to be strict on them. I'm having to let go on other people's supervision, but I am still monitoring. I am like the eagle that can fly high and observe what's going on and fly back home and say, guys, I saw this happening, so be aware. Yeah, that's my position now. And I read a lot. I read a lot of news. On my iPhone, I scroll a lot of news, and I tend to skim a lot. I've become that much. Lovely, yeah. So yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. It's the
new norm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this interview, and I hope everything goes well for you and your family, and take care.